Hello everybody, welcome to Delcel Valley and my rebuild series. This is finally the last build that I need to do in Delcel Valley to actually finish up rebuilding this world. I'm also currently rebuilding Willow Creek and I have done a lot of videos on that and more to come, but yeah, I've been putting off this build for a little while because it's massive, and as you can probably see by the video length, it's almost 30 minutes long at this point. It's just a massive build, and I have sped up the video a little bit more than I usually do because I really didn't want to make it into a two-part video. I don't know. Some videos are good for that, some are not, and it just didn't make the most sense to me to actually make it into a two-part video. So I decided to just, we're gonna speed it up a bit more, and then I'm gonna show you everything that is going on with this build. Now, this is the biggest build and the biggest lot size in Delcel Valley, and the mansion that was here before, it was a modern mansion, and I thought, you know what, we already have one modern mansion, and Judith Ward's new home, it kind of needs a sibling, doesn't it? So what I actually decided to do was go in and really take inspiration from these older European styled mansions that you can find around Europe, and try to go with that and see if we couldn't make that work. Now, the reason that I've also been putting off this build is because this is just a style that is not really that comfortable for me to do. Like, I enjoy doing other styles. I love the challenge and I love the results when doing it, but building something like this, I will say it was actually quite difficult because I have a total different mindset and I have to switch that when going into a build like this. So you're gonna see that, especially when we go inside to do the interior of the build. It's very much about restraining myself from not filling it up with clutter and stuff like that, because that's what you would do in a more traditional build, modern build as well. Whereas here, because it is this very classic style, I had to kind of restrain myself and be like, okay, so it's okay that there is this big room with a lot of quote unquote empty space, because that's just how it was back then. So that's kind of why I put it off, because it's a way of building that's somewhat uncomfortable for me, but I like the challenge. Going into the build here, we have the general shape. I really love the color scheme. I was showing it to Martin as well, and he also said I really like the yellow on there. It was nice contrast. So when I went into find the windows that I wanted to use for this build, that's where it became a bit more difficult, because there's so many options now, but finding something that fits in with both the stone that I've chosen, but also with the yellow or yellow oranges ish kind of color scheme, that was kind of difficult actually. So I went in with multiple iterations of windows, and then I had to step back from it and I went to do something else, because initially I was like, you know, these windows kind of work for me. They just didn't. It was not great. Also, the entrance, the front door, whatever you want to call it, we also switched that up, and then I went with these more traditional windows that came with the newest expansion pack, hobbies and businesses and hobbies, whichever one is called, I can't remember. All the expansion packs, I swear to God, there's so many now. Remembering all the names is just, for me, impossible when I have a difficulty even remembering what I had for dinner a week ago. So, but yeah, we went in with all new windows, and I really wanted to, hit home that this needed to be an old style. So the windows really does make up the majority of that feeling and the look of it. So it was important to really hit that. And going into, again, we have this big lot. It was like, what am I going to fill it up with? What makes sense to be here? And seeing that we are in Delsil Valley, and this is probably where the rich and famous are gonna live, I was like, okay, so a fake tennis court, that makes sense for me. Like, I feel like that would be one of those things that you would just expect to be there, like a big pool area as well. So I actually had to research. I had to stop what I was doing while building and Google the lineage of a tennis court because I could not for the life of me remember. So it's 100% accurate. Just gonna say that. It's a real tennis. It's not functional, but it looks good. You can do whatever you want with it over there if you don't want the tennis court, but I just like the way that it looks. And you can, throw some basketball hoops in there or whatever, so it's actually a functional space to be in. But when it came to actually filling things up in the back area here with stuff and activities to do, another thing that came to mind was, would it make sense to have a greenhouse? For me, I was like, yeah, that kind of does make sense to have a greenhouse here. Lots of different activities, and it's gonna be the same with the interior as well, because you're rich. You don't need to really work. You might do a movie once in a while, and that's kind of it. But it is what it is. You have all this time, and you are probably never gonna want to leave your house unless it's for some sort of photo opportunity or paparazzi thingy, whatever. So I wanted to fill it up with lots of activities. I did plant some plants in the plants in here, some exotic ones, but I also left a lot of them open so you can fill them up with whatever you need. But we have the tennis court in the back. We have the 2 greenhouses. We have a big pool that I'm also going to finish up with, lots of pool activities. And then it was just about starting to fill up the place with plants and making it look good. I've noticed I have this habit of gravitating more towards the blue plants and blue flowers as well. So that was something I wanted to try and address in this build, with a lot of other flowers as well. I don't know why I gravitate towards though. I just think inside the game they're super pretty, so that might be the reason. When it came to the front here, it was not looking grand enough. I needed it to look even more grand than it already did. So lots of bespoke fountains here around the place. We have this fence that's shaped like a hedge. I don't normally use this because I don't think that when you go on an angle it looks that good, but I don't know. For this, it really worked because it's those really sharp edges and it looks like somebody really took time to manicure them and tend to them. Might be a gardener. Oh, there's space for a butler in here if you would want that. So generally, there's a lot going on. So let me try to break down what we have inside of the house here. Because boy, oh boy, this is a big house. First off, in the OG build, there was this hidden, what do we call it? Safe box thing, the one that I just placed. I wanted to have that again. But of course, I had to go one step further. So we have 2 boxes and they're hidden behind a fake door bookcase thing. So you really, really know that this safe needs to be protected. The storyline that I came up with for this speed build was kind of like maybe it's a famous artist who live here, or they used to be a movie star, something like that, famous musician, and now they are just, they have retired back into living by themselves. They're very content on that, but having just all the time in the world, they really went into artistry. And I'm gonna do something down in the vault area which really emphasizes and hits home with this narrative. So yeah, I thought that was really cool. But again, you can do with it whatever you want. And as I've already said in many videos as of late, this is part of the rebuild series. So the house is available on the gallery right now, but you can also wait for my save file to go up when I'm done with each of the worlds, and it is swiftly taking place. So we're over halfway done with Willow Creek as well. 2 neighborhoods are done. We just need the main strip and the space where the, what is it called, Spencer Lewis Kim household lives. And that's kind of it. So it is progressing fastly. So again, you can wait for my save file, or you can download this from the gallery. It's totally up to you. I really wanted to have the main hall be this very grand spectacle of display. For me, again, when we come into it here, this is where I really had to have a different mindset, because the style is very different from what I would normally do. But also the amount of clutter that you need to put in here in these big spaces for it to look classy is just second to none. So in Denmark, we have a royal family, one of, if not the oldest, one of the oldest in the world. And every single time they show pictures from inside the royal palace, I'm always amazed at how little stuff there is. There's like no stuff at all. What it really comes down to is the decorations on the walls and the carpets and the little furniture that is there. Each piece kind of speaks for itself, and going into that mindset when I'm used to really wanting to fill everything to the brim so it looks like realistic and cozy, that's kind of difficult. So that's the challenge I had with this build. And I think, yeah, again, that's probably why it took me quite a while to do this build, because I knew what I wanted to do. But again, it's out of my comfort zone. So let's talk about what kind of rooms we actually have in this big old house. So you walk in straight to the great big grand staircase. We have a big kitchen. We have, I think it's 4 or 5 bathrooms. We have 3 big bedrooms. We have a library and an office that's kind of connected as well, so you can go into either one. I thought it would be really cool to connect the two, so if you were in the office, you could go straight into the library, but it would still be kind of closed off because the arch is in the back of the library and in the back/side of the office space. So I was just trying to figure out what to do with the bookcases here. I needed to find the right one that would actually fit in with the, the aesthetics of what I was trying to do. But besides that, we also have a big dining room, like massive, where there's gonna be a bar area. There's going to be a piano. We have a big living space. And because I also have a lot of living spaces around the place, like little seating areas, or there's a couch here just for decoration purposes. Going into the living space was also kind of difficult, but again, we made it work. So I didn't put in a dedicated room for a butler. You could definitely do that, or you could just dedicate one of the rooms as a butler room if you wanted to, but I didn't do that. You can do with this build whatever you want, just as long as you don't re-upload it and take credit for it, because I have actually had that happen quite a few times, unfortunately. But I'm choosing to take it as a compliment. I also, with this build, I really wanted to have some funky looking tiling around the place. I don't know. I feel like if there ever was a build where you would have some really funky tiles, this would be it. The same with the wooden flooring that we have here. It is so high class that this just fits in with this build. Like, you could definitely make this flooring more modern, but it fits with this type of build. And yeah. Oh yeah, so down here in the vault area, again, this is hidden behind a secret door, bookcase, whatever you want to call it. And I was like, this is down here where the magic happens. So when the mansion owner is alone, they kind of go down here to sculpt, paint, do whatever artistry they need to do and sell it. So maybe they're actually a secret artist that hides behind a artist's name. So nobody actually knows who this artist is. They just know that, oh, we need the art from that person. And that's also why I chose to do it in the basement next to the vaults, because maybe some of the paintings are stored in there. Maybe the owner is a collector themselves. There's a lot of storylines here that you guys could do. I just set up the the narratives, and it's totally up to you to do with it whatever you want. So yeah. One thing with this build also is I didn't make a dedicated master bedroom. It might be this one because it has the ensuite bathroom and the other big bedroom doesn't, but you could use either one. There's so many bathrooms in this house anyway, so it's not like your sim is never gonna have to go to the bathroom or go far. But you know, there is the option to make this the master. Again, because it has the ensuite. But each master or each bedroom has a very similar style to it. I was trying to keep it muted and really mix these two colors together to make it look, you know, somewhat cohesive throughout the build. So this bedroom is very similar to the other one, with a few different style details, but other than that, it's somewhat the same. We do have a lot of fireplaces around the place in this build as well, because I did put chimneys on top of the roof, and I was like, these chimneys needs to be functioning for something. So that's why I put those in. I made a baby's room here with also the possibility to have it be a toddler. And there's an ensuite bathroom as well, because once the baby / toddler grows up, you can make this into a teenage room instead, or kids room, whatever you'd like. And I really like the way that it turned out. It's very neutral looking, but it's super cute. This room here, I don't know. I kind of imagined this to be the guest bedroom, but Again, with the styling, it's very, very similar to the other one. The bed is not as nice, but it's still a very nice bed. We have still seating area in here. We have like some bookcases and a dressing area. It's just all very, very similar to the other one. I do think I prefer this one a little more though, but it's also because I leaned into the somewhat like a little bit more modern furniture in here without going super modern, because we do have a few furniture pieces that is this very nice mixture between classic and modern. So I thought I could get away with that. Going into the kitchen, I cannot remember the last time I made a kitchen this big. It's a massive kitchen. It has a huge island and there's like counters from wall to wall. The windows also make it look so much bigger. I love these windows, by the way, especially from the inside. They're so beautiful. But there's just so much space. And again, I really had to fight the urge not to just fill it up with tons of stuff. Now in the kitchen, I could go a bit more crazy with that because it makes sense that in the kitchen there would be somewhat more stuff related to kitchen things and food and stuff like that. But again, I still didn't want to go overboard with everything. So I still had to restrain myself a little bit. But I think the kitchen turned out so good. I'm overall super happy with the way that it just turned out. And finding clutter, I feel like when they don't know what to do with an item or how to label it, they just put it into miscellaneous. Which means, and you guys know this if you're a builder, which means that this is the biggest catalog. That is the miscellaneous clutter because there's so much stuff in there. It's just insane. So it can be very difficult to find what you need sometimes. I wanted to have the biggest, grandest table in here. So I made my own with these 4 tables. We have tons of seating because, again, rich, famous person inviting every single one to dinner or big dinner parties, whatever. There needs to be enough space for everybody. And this dining room is just so big and so grand that I just thought, you know what? The biggest dining room table, the grandest dining room table, that would just fit perfectly in here. As I started to fill up this space, we have a space over here with some seating. Because there's the thing with empty space that looks okay in a build like this, and then there's empty space that just looks weird because it's just legit a big empty space with nothing in it, which is something I feel like the Sims team, when they didn't get help from creators, they were very good at just plopping in a table in a room and then leaving it at that, or having the biggest, for example, bathroom in the world with just one toilet, one shower, and a sink and a mirror, and that was that. It's like, yeah, that doesn't work. So I filled it up. There's a bar area, the like little rooms in between. I didn't do anything in there because that's one of those rooms where it's okay that it's just for decorational purpose, but it still looks good. This is the main living room. I was having a bit of, I wouldn't say trouble, but I was like, what do I do in here? Because we have so many seating areas already throughout the place. So I made this into a kind of a bit more of a family room instead. So we have room for toddler stuff and playthings, and there's just a general seating area. And the last thing I did was these bathrooms. I put them off till the very last minute, but all the bathrooms kind of look the same. It's just copy pasted items and moved into a different space, so everything just fits together. And yeah, we're almost at the end here. I promise you're gonna be done hearing me speak very, very soon. But yeah, the bathrooms. I of course had to make the bathrooms with the golden toilet, because why wouldn't I? If there ever was a build where it would fit into, this is definitely the one. So lots of golden accents in there, and this is the build. I really like the way that it turned out. The detailing, the color scheme. I think you can see Judith's house in the background there. I think it looks really, really good. And it's definitely super close to my vision of what it should have looked like. So I'm really happy about that. And also the backyard, I put in tons of activities just to make sure that there was enough to do on the lots. And there's definitely room for you to expand the house if you want bigger family or whatever it might be. There's definitely enough room to expand outwards or backwards, whichever one you'd like. This is the overhead view of where the room placement in and the grand entrance. I love this shot. I think it looks super good. The muted color schemes with the very traditional gold, white, gray. I think that's just a combo that really works. Also with the blue here and the blue paneling on the walls, it's definitely, it works. So as I said in the previous video and earlier in this video as well, excuse me, all of my builds are available on the gallery. You just have to search my EA ID, which is Auvbri, just like the channel name here. And you're going to be able to find every single thing that I have done and uploaded to the gallery. If it's on YouTube, it is 99% on the gallery as well. Or you could wait for my save file to be finished, because I am rebuilding every single world. This was the last one I needed for Delsil Valley. We are tackling Willow Creek, which is going really, really good. And after Willow Creek, I haven't really decided what world to take next, but it might be Oasis Springs. Not quite sure yet. But now I'm just focused on Willow Creek. And on my my other content. Oh yeah, my vlogging channel. So there's a link in the description down below to my vlogging channel. It would help me out a great big deal if you would go check it out, subscribe to it. I really want to hit 100 subs over there. So it's called My Ordinary Life. It's my day-to-day things of what happens, the good, the bad, and everything in between. And yeah, while you're down there, why not leave a like on this video and hit that notification bell if you haven't already. And subscribe to the channel again if you haven't already. But I just want to say thank you so much for watching. Tell me what you think about the build down below. Let's have a conversation. And then there's nothing else for me to say other than hope to see you next time. Bye everybody.